You were born into a world that smiles in your face and sharpens knives behind your back. People pretend to care, but watch closely. Their eyes reveal calculation. Their compliments are currency. Their kindness is bait. Everyone is playing the game, but only a few admit it. No one is your friend until you win. When you're nothing, they pity you. When you rise, they envy you. When you dominate, they fear you, and that's when they finally respect you. Stop seeking fairness. There is none. Stop chasing validation. It's a leash. The world bows to strength, not sympathy. Power, discipline, detachment. That's the trinity of survival. You know what your weakness. You know what your story. You owe yourself transformation, because when you're invisible, no one helps. When you win, everyone claims they always believed. That's the rule of power. Affection follows advantage. So stop complaining about the game. Master it. Use every insult as ignition, every doubt as proof that you're on the right path. Remember this, the wolf doesn't need approval from the sheep. Comment this now. I owe the world nothing. I build myself. It soars. The isolation. To rise from zero, you must first disappear. Withdraw from the noise. Step away from people who drain your focus. The crowd talks, but the powerful listen, mostly to themselves. Isolation is not punishment, it's preparation. It's the crucible where you melt down weakness and forge discipline. You stop needing approval. You start studying the game. When you vanish, they'll whisper, "He's changed." They write, "You're mutating from dependent to dangerous." They can't control what they can't reach. And when they can't read you, they start to fear you. Machiavelli said it best, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Fear keeps distance. Distance breeds mystery. Mystery creates power. The ones who chase attention always end up controlled by it. You're learning to be unseen and unstoppable. Every great mind was first a ghost. Every empire began in silence. You don't owe the world visibility. You owe yourself evolution. While they seek comfort, you train your will. While they talk, you strategize. When you re-emerge, you won't need validation. They'll give you recognition. Comment this now. My silence is my strategy. Even the rebuild, from zero to ruthless. When you've been stripped to nothing, that's when the real construction begins. Because from zero, every brick you place is yours. Know what can claim your foundation. Rock bottom is not your end, it's your purification. It burns away illusion and forces you to face the truth. Know what's coming to save you. Good. That means you're free. The weak cry for rescue. The strong become the storm. You don't rebuild by wishing. You rebuild by grinding in silence, brutal decision at a time. You replace emotion with execution, excuses with endurance. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start saying, "Watch me." Every great strategist, Machiavelli, Marcus Aurelius, Sun Tzu, understood one thing. The world respects power built on discipline. So you build your body until it speaks before you do. You sharpen your mind until no one can lie to you, not even yourself. You learn the art of control, not over others, but over your reactions. Because control is the highest currency of power. You become unpredictable, calm in chaos, ruthless in pursuit. When someone doubts you, you thank them. They just gave you fuel. When someone leaves, you smile. They just lightened your load. When life punches you, you smirk, because you've learned to enjoy pain like a sculptor loves the chisel. Understand this. Ruthlessness isn't cruelty, it's clarity. It's knowing exactly what you want and being willing to lose everything fake to get it. You'll have to shed your old skin, the people pleaser, the apologizer, the dreamer waiting for permission. Kill him, bury him deep, and when you rise again, rise as something colder, sharper, unbreakable. The new version of you won't beg for respect, it will command it, silently. Comment this now. From zero, I build the ruthless version of me. The mask, mastering perception and power. Power isn't just about what you are, it's about what they think you are. The wise never reveal their full hand. You show just enough to control the room, but never enough to be predictable. That's the art of the mask, Machiavellian mastery. In this world, transparency is weakness. The man who speaks too much loses control of his image. The man who shows all his emotions gives away his power. So you learn to play roles. Calm when you're furious, confident when you're uncertain, silent when you're plotting. People don't respect honesty, they respect power. And perception is power. If they believe you're in control, then you are. Control the story, and you control their reactions. You must learn emotional camouflage. Smile when it disarms, frown when it intimidates. Become what the situation demands, not what your feelings want. That's how kings survive in a world of pawns. Remember, the strong manipulate reality, the weak complain about it. Your presence should make others adjust. Your words should plant ideas that grow even after you've left the room. That's psychological warfare, subtle, invisible, effective. Never argue, never chase validation. The moment you defend yourself, you lower your rank. Instead, speak less. Let your silence imply authority. People fear what they don't fully understand. Use that. Behind your mask, remain grounded in logic. Let emotion serve strategy, never the other way around. Because if they can read you, they can control you. But if they can't, they'll orbit you. You don't fake confidence, you engineer it. You build it through discipline, composure, and control of energy. When your inner world is stable, the outer world bends to it. So wear the mask with precision. Not to deceive, but to direct. Comment this now. I control perception. I command power. The hunt, turning strategy into domination. Now that you've built the foundation and mastered the mask, it's time to hunt. Not with desperation, with precision. Predators don't chase everything that moves. They wait, they calculate, then they strike once, clean, silent, final. That's how you win. Not through chaos, but through control. Machiavelli taught that fortune favors the bold, but only when boldness is timed with wisdom. The weak act out of impulse, the strong act from intention. Every move you make should either build your power or protect it. Nothing in between. Strategy begins with patience. You watch, you learn, you adapt. You listen to what people say, and more importantly, what they don't. You study their fears, their needs, their egos. Every human is a map of pressure points. Know where to press, and you control the outcome. In the hunt, emotion is the enemy. Anger blinds. Pride exposes. Desire leaks weakness. So you stay detached, calm, surgical. When they attack, you observe. When they underestimate you, you smile. Your calmness becomes their confusion, and confusion breeds mistakes. Understand that domination isn't about destroying everyone around you. It's about creating such psychological gravity that they revolve around you. They align their choices to your rhythm. They respect your silence, fear your disapproval, crave your recognition. That's real power, influence without effort. To achieve it, you must play the long game. Never rush results. Time is your sharpest weapon, patience your invisible blade. Every day you're underestimated is another day you sharpen in secret, and when you strike, it will look effortless, because you prepared while they played. Remember, strategy is warfare without blood. You're not chasing victory, you're engineering inevitability. Comment this now. I hunt with patience. I strike with purpose. The emotional armor, how to stay untouchable. Power attracts pressure. The moment you begin to rise, the world will test your stability. People will provoke, insult, doubt, and tempt you, not because they care, but because your progress reminds them of their stagnation. Your calm becomes a mirror reflecting their chaos. You must build armor, not around your body, but around your emotions. Emotional control is the final stage of mastery. Without it, all strategy collapses. A man who cannot govern his feelings can never govern his destiny. Machiavelli wrote that men are driven by two forces, love and fear. But the wise man is driven by neither. He is guided by reason alone. When you let emotion rule, you surrender your kingdom to impulse. The world wants you reactive, loud, unstable, because a predictable man is easy to manipulate, so you train stillness. When they insult you, you observe. When they praise you, you observe. When they betray you, you still observe. Observation over reaction, that's emotional dominance. Anger wastes energy. Fear leaks power. Indifference, that's the mark of control. You learn to feel everything and reveal nothing. A calm face in the storm unsettles everyone who expected a reaction. That's your weapon. You don't suppress emotions, you repurpose them. Pain becomes drive. Rejection becomes direction. Doubt becomes focus. Every emotion can serve your strategy if you choose to command it instead of obey it. Understand, coldness is not cruelty, it's composure. The man who stays composed when everyone else panics becomes the natural leader. Your energy must remain unshaken, because instability invites attack. You'll notice once you master your emotions, people will start testing harder. They'll throw chaos to see if you crack. Smile. They're confirming your strength. You've become something they can't predict, and what can't be predicted can't be controlled. Keep your mind steel calm, your voice measured, your decisions deliberate. That's the essence of masculine stoicism, power without noise. Remember, the strongest man in the room is rarely the loudest. He's the one who could destroy everything but chooses not to. Comment this now. I feel everything, but nothing controls me. Time. The game of influence. How to control without force. The most dangerous form of power is not physical, it's psychological. The ability to guide minds, shape outcomes, and bend the environment to your will without lifting a finger. Influence is control disguised as suggestion. It's not about forcing obedience, it's about engineering belief. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Fear and love are both tools, but influence, true influence, is art. It's silent, invisible, yet impossible to escape once you've mastered it. To control others, you must first understand them. Study what drives them: fear, greed, vanity, or validation. Everyone is ruled by why dominant desire, and when you find it, you hold the strings. But here's the key: never pull the strings too hard. Control must feel like choice. When people think they're following their own will, they'll never resist yours. You plant the seed, let them water it, and by the time it blooms, they call it their own idea. That's influence, manipulation disguised as empowerment. Speak less, observe more. When you talk, make every word a weapon, short, deliberate, and loaded with suggestion. Never explain yourself. Explanation lowers power. Instead, imply. Let their imagination do the work. The mind fills gaps with its own fears and ambitions. Use that tendency to your advantage. Influence isn't about domination, it's about direction. You don't push, you pull. You don't argue, you align. The goal is not to win every battle, but to make others fight for outcomes that benefit you. People crave leadership because it gives them certainty. You become their certainty. Your composure becomes their comfort. Your words become their comfort. And when they depend on your clarity, they hand you control willingly. But remember, never influence from desperation. Needing to control exposes weakness. Control flows from indifference. You influence best when you're detached from outcome. You make moves because they're correct, not because you crave reaction. The master of influence never begs attention. He commands it through energy. He doesn't chase power, he attracts it. His silence carries authority because it's backed by purpose. People feel it before they understand it. That's dominance without display. In every room you enter, carry stillness like a weapon. Stand with intent, move with economy. When you speak, pause deliberately. Let silence frame your words. It's not charisma, it's calibration. Every action must signal certainty. Certainty is magnetic. And the deeper truth, influence doesn't start with others, it starts with yourself. If you can command your own impulses, your focus, your image, the world naturally follows. Because people don't follow leaders, they follow stability. Be that stability, move like strategy wrapped in flesh. Think 10 steps ahead, and smile while you're 3 moves away from victory. Comment this now. I control through calm, I influence without force. The shadow, understanding human weakness. Every human carries a shadow, the hidden side that controls them when they pretend to be good. If you want to dominate the game of life, you must study this shadow, not just in others, but within yourself. Machiavelli didn't study saints, he studied sinners who understood power. Because the truth is simple, humans are predictable once you understand what corrupts them. Greed, fear, envy, lust, ego. These are the strings that pull every move in this world. People are rarely guided by reason. They are puppets of emotion pretending to be logical. You, however, must become the puppeteer. Watch how people react when denied validation. That's their weakness. Watch what they do when offered status. That's their hunger. Observe what they fear losing. That's their leash. Everyone has what. Find it, and you hold the map to their behavior. Dark psychology isn't about cruelty, it's about awareness. You can't win against an enemy you refuse to understand. You can't lead if you don't see the patterns that control the herd. So train your perception. When others speak, you read tone, timing, tension, not words. When others act, you look past intent and into instinct. When they lie, you listen to what changes in their breathing, not their sentences. Most people reveal more in silence than they ever will in speech. The shadow speaks through micro-expressions, hesitation, avoidance. And once you can see it, manipulation becomes unnecessary, because knowledge itself becomes control. But to truly master the shadow, you must first conquer your own. You must confront the part of you that hungers for approval, that fears rejection, that clings to comfort. Expose it. Face it without mercy. The weak man hides from his darkness. The strong man learns to use it. Ruthlessness without self-awareness becomes recklessness. Power without inner balance turns to decay. You must learn to integrate both light and dark, reason and instinct, calm and aggression, empathy and strategy. Balance doesn't mean softness, it means control. Your shadow isn't evil, it's energy. When channeled, it becomes your edge. It sharpens your intuition, hardens your resolve, and turns emotion into foresight. The more you understand human weakness, the less you'll be surprised. You'll stop expecting loyalty, you'll stop believing promises, and you'll stop being offended when people betray you because you'll already know they would. Understanding darkness isn't pessimism, it's protection. Once you expect nothing, every outcome becomes a win. You'll walk through deceit with calm precision, knowing exactly how every piece will move before it happens. This is what it means to see through the mask of the world. You won't hate it, you'll use it. You'll adapt faster, act colder, and lead smarter. And when others fall apart from emotional chaos, you'll remain still, untouchable, unshaken, unreadable. Comment this now: I see the shadow, and I master it. The throne. Building an empire of power and respect. Power is not taken, it's built. Brick by brick, move by move, in silence and precision. A throne isn't granted by luck, it's earned by endurance, calculated aggression, and unshakable control. And here's the truth most never accept. Respect does not come from being liked, it comes from being needed. To build an empire, in business, in influence, or within yourself, you must stop thinking like the soldier and start thinking like the architect. The soldier fights for survival, the architect builds for domination. Your empire begins in your habits, your mornings, your discipline. It's not the empire outside that matters first, it's the empire within. Because if your inner world is chaotic, your outer world will always mirror it. You must become a strategist of life itself. Every action, every word, every alliance must serve the throne you're building. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must learn not to be good, but to appear good when necessary. That's the art of controlled perception. Be ruthless in results, graceful in appearance. Never show hunger, only certainty. Never show chaos, only composure. People follow order, even if it's cold, because order gives them direction. They will bow to whoever controls their sense of security. Your calmness must become that security. Your decisiveness must become that direction. Lead not through emotion, but through example, through proof of control. To build something unshakable, you must master two forces: construction and consequence. Construction is discipline, the long grind, the repetition, the refinement. Consequence is authority, the enforcement of your standards. If people break your boundaries and face no consequence, your empire crumbles from within. So, learn to say no without explanation. Learn to remove without regret. Loyalty untested is loyalty unproven. Keep those who add value, dismiss those who drain it. Respect grows in scarcity. The more available you are, the less they value you. The more mysterious you remain, the more they seek your presence. Scarcity amplifies power. Use it deliberately. When you lead, don't chase popularity, command credibility. You don't need to be loved, you need to be respected in silence. When you speak, people should feel consequence in your tone. When you act, people should anticipate outcomes before you announce them. That's when you've crossed from influence to control. Understand that every empire faces envy. They will try to question your motives, sabotage your moves, distort your image. Do not react. Kings don't wrestle with peasants, they reposition the board. Attack from elevation, not emotion. Your enemies are gifts, proof that your presence disrupts the fragile. Use their noise as free advertisement for your dominance. And never forget, power without purpose collapses. So define your mission. What do you want your empire to represent? If it's only ego, it will rot. But if it's built on mastery, of self, of discipline, of value, it becomes immortal. Empires rise and fall, but legacies remain. You must become the man who builds, breaks, and rebuilds without losing composure. The man who is calm during chaos, decisive during doubt, and silent during storms. Your throne is not a chair, it's a mindset. Every challenge that tries to knock you down only polishes your resolve. So keep building in silence, with strategy, with cold precision. One day, those who doubted will look up, and they'll see you sitting on a throne made from everything they said you couldn't do. That's power, that's respect, that's inevitability. And when that day comes, you won't need to say a word. Your results will speak the language of kings. Comment this now: I build my throne in silence, and I rise without mercy. The war within, mastering the mind of a king. Every empire falls when the ruler loses control of his own mind. The greatest war you will ever fight will not be against enemies, critics, or doubters. it will be against the voice inside your head that whispers weakness when no one's watching. The war within is constant. It's the battle between discipline and desire, patience and impulse, purpose and distraction. The world outside can't destroy you, it can only amplify what's already crumbling inside. So before you conquer anything external, you must first become absolute inside your own mind. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He said that fortune controls half of what we do, but the other half is governed by our own power. That half is everything, because the man who commands his inner world bends fortune to his will. Every reaction, every decision, every victory starts in thought. So you must treat your mind like a fortress. Control what enters, control what stays, control what you believe. If your thoughts are unguarded, your empire will always be vulnerable. Every distraction steals from your focus. Every doubt weakens your edge. Your greatest weapon is not aggression, it's attention. Where your focus goes, energy flows. Where your energy flows, your destiny grows. Train your mind to stay unmoved by chaos. When people insult you, that's noise. When they praise you, that's still noise. Only the mission matters. You must learn to see both praise and criticism as fuel, not direction. If you live by applause, you'll die by silence. So detach from external validation. Be your own standard. Every morning, remind yourself, the battlefield is in your head. The war isn't about fighting others, it's about refusing to lose to yourself. You win when you do the hard thing even when no one's watching. You win when you stay calm when everything around you burns. You win when you choose control over comfort, logic over impulse, power over pity. There will be days when doubt creeps in, when fatigue whispers, "Rest now, no one will know." But that's the voice of weakness trying to reclaim the throne you built. Silence it. Your mind is the general, not the soldier. It gives commands, it does not take them. A king's strength isn't in his army, it's in his composure. The one who keeps awe inside himself naturally commands order outside himself. You don't need to dominate through volume, you dominate through vision. You see the board 10 moves ahead, you act with precision, while others drown in confusion. Remember, the man who controls his mind controls time. He moves slower, but achieves faster. He talks less, but influences more, because his energy is foes and cones. Energy is the definition of power. But understand, mastery doesn't mean perfection, it means awareness. You'll still feel anger, temptation, fear. You just won't serve them. You use them, and fire, the signal, as power. You will begin to see that every emotion is a messenger. Anger tells you where your boundaries are. Fear tells you where you need courage. Doubt tells you where you need preparation. The difference between the weak and the powerful is interpretation. The weak feel emotions and obey them. The powerful feel emotions and interrogate them. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you sharpen your blade. Every time you delay gratification, you build armor. Every time you silence chaos with calm, you take another step toward mental royalty. And dare the truth, when your mind becomes unshakable, your enemies will fade. Not till they disappeared, but because they can no longer reach your level of control. They'll scream, gossip, mock, and you'll hear nothing but wind. That mental supremacy, it not arrogance, it evolution. You've stopped reacting like the crowd because you've ascended beyond it. You've turned your mind into an empire of silence, precision, and dominance. And when others wonder how you keep winning, tell them nothing. Smile, stay silent, and let results write your mythology. The war within never truly ends, but the longer you fight it, the more it obeys you. Master it, and you master everything. Comment this now: my mind is my kingdom, and I rule it with fire. The ascension, becoming untouchable. There comes a point where all your pain, discipline, and isolation merge into something unbreakable. A state beyond ego, beyond fear, beyond approval. That's ascension, the final transformation, the birth of the untouchable. When you reach this stage, you stop reacting to the world and start designing it. You no longer chase respect, it arrives naturally. You don't demand loyalty, it aligns by gravity. The power you built internally now radiates outward, calm, silent, absolute. Machiavelli said, "He who becomes master of a city accustomed to freedom will destroy it or be destroyed. Replace city with your old self. To rule your new life, you must first destroy the one that begged for mercy, the un that sought validation, the un that tolerated disrespect. That version dies here. You've learned the laws of human nature, the masks, the manipulation, the psychology of dominance. But now you must transcend even those tools, because real mastery is not about controlling others. It's about being so composed that no one can control you. The untouchable mind doesn't cling. It doesn't beg. It doesn't fear. It moves strategically through chaos with calm precision. You're no longer chasing power, you embody it. Every word you speak carries weight because it's filtered through intention. Every silence intimidates because it's backed by discipline. People sense the difference. Your energy no longer reacts, it dictates. You've become a paradox. Calm yet dangerous, silent yet dominant, humble yet impossible to challenge. That's the Machiavellian equilibrium, the fusion of restraint and ruthlessness. The ascended man plays a longer game. He knows patience is the rarest form of aggression. While others rush for attention, he moves slowly, unseen, strategic, deliberate, until the result lands like a guillotine. You no longer need to prove your worth. The proof is your composure. The fact that you can walk through storms with a steady pulse makes the chaotic worship you in silence. When you are untouchable, you become the storm. You don't chase opportunities, you create them. You don't adapt to the system, you become the system. And the moment you realize this, fear dissolves. Because what can the world take from a man who built himself from nothing and learned to need nothing? That's the highest power. Detachment. Note apathy, but strength so rooted that loss cannot shake it. You could lose wealth, allies, status, and still stand calm, because you built your foundation on something permanent: control. Understand this. Every empire you build outside is temporary. Every title, every possession, every admirer, all of it fades. The only empire that remains eternal is the one you construct inside your mind. That's the empire of clarity, self-respect, and composure. The untouchable doesn't shout about victory. He doesn't announce his progress. He moves with a stillness that unnerves the insecure. Because when you no longer explain yourself, when you no longer justify your vision, you ascend from the level of men to the level of myth. This is where true freedom lives. You are no longer owned by opinions, no longer directed by emotion, no longer chained by insecurity. You are pure direction, energy shaped by purpose. From this state, manipulation fails, envy fades, and chaos bends to your rhythm. The world becomes predictable because you've transcended reaction. You've become untouchable not by escaping humanity, but by mastering it. That's ascension, not godhood, but sovereignty. You are no longer in the game. You are the game. Every pain you endured, every betrayal you survived, every night of isolation, all of it was training. Every loss was fuel. Every failure was sharpening. You weren't being broken, you were being built into something the weak can't comprehend. And now, standing at the top of your own mountain, you realize there is no finish line. There is only the next level of composure, the next layer of mastery, the next test of stillness. Because power isn't achieved, it's maintained. That's why you keep evolving. That's why you stay dangerous but calm. You never return to who you were, because that version couldn't survive the weight you now carry with ease. Becoming untouchable doesn't mean being emotionless. It means being emotionally invincible. You feel deeply, but choose deliberately. You forgive quickly, but never forget patterns. You act with empathy, but protect your boundaries with iron. That's the final lesson of the Machiavellian mindset. Control yourself, and you control reality. So stand tall. You've earned your throne. You've mastered the mask, the mind, the strategy, and the silence. You are no longer god of them, you are the force that shapes them. Now the mission changes. Your goal is not to dominate others, but to inspire those strong enough to rise. The world doesn't need more victims, it needs more men who can lead with reason, strength, and precision. So keep building, keep refining, keep your armor polished and your silence sharp. Every word, every movement, every decision, all of it should echo discipline. And when people ask how you did it, tell them the truth. I stopped playing for approval and started playing for power. That's the moment you become truly untouchable. Comment this now. I built myself from nothing, and now I am untouchable. And if this message hit your core, if you felt it in your bones, then it's time to act. Like the video, subscribe to Mental Fort, and turn on notifications, because your transformation isn't finished, it's only begun. 11. The legacy. Power that outlives you. Power means nothing if it dies with you. The real question is, what will remain when you're gone? Every man wants to be remembered, but few deserve it. Legacy isn't built through noise, it's built through impact, through the energy you leave in the world long after your voice goes silent. Machiavelli understood legacy better than most. He knew that ideas outlive flesh. Empires fall, but philosophies echo for centuries. Your name doesn't have to be famous to be immortal. It just has to represent something unshakable. The true legacy is not what people say about you, it's what they become because of you. If your discipline inspired one soul to rise, if your strength made someone refuse weakness, you've already altered history. Your mindset becomes your monument. Your discipline becomes your doctrine. Your silence becomes your scripture. And here's the truth. Legacy isn't decided when you die. It's decided every morning when you rise. When you choose to act with purpose instead of comfort. When you choose control over emotion. When you lead yourself before you try to lead anyone else. You don't chase immortality. You earn it through consistency. Because repetition turns habits into power and power into legend. So keep building in silence. Keep sharpening your mind until your existence becomes a standard. Let your actions speak long after your voice fades. The untouchable man doesn't just win. He leaves blueprints. He becomes proof that strength, strategy, and stoicism still matter in a world drowning in weakness. And when the next generation studies power, your principles will be there. Not as noise, but as law. Comment there now, my legacy is discipline. My name echoes in silence. And remember, if you're here, it's not by accident. You were drawn to mental fort because something in you refuses mediocrity. Feed that, protect that, build that. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and keep coming back, because this is not motivation, this is transformation. Your era begins now.